You need B complex. You need Bob. Bob has to be there to spin that cycle. Remember, guys, we need all these guys in the boxes in order to spin and generate energy. Okay? So you need Bob. You need multi-min chelate, trace minerals. Magnesium, manganese, and the citric acid Krebs cycle are the most important. Multi-min chelate is the supplement that does that. Okay? Nitric balance. Nitric oxide is anti-inflammatory in its nature. There's 3 types. We're going to get into this a little bit later. There's the INOS, which is inflammatory nitrous oxide. There's the NNOS, which is what this supplement is right there. And there's the ENOS system. That's the exercise-induced nitric oxide. Which one do you think is the most powerful?
Exercise.
Essential number 4 right there. Exercise. What kind? The kind we teach. Burst training, on-off training. Get that oxygen cranked up, cranks up the ENOS system, and bam, you're fighting cancer. No, we have to lay in a bed, and we have to take intravenous stuff, and let's not breathe because that's good for cancer development processes. It's just nuts, right? CoQ10 with lipoic acid. So Larry and a friend. Okay, the friend is CoQ10. Let's go back. Check it out, CoQ10, right there. I got a really interesting thing I'm going to show you at the end. So don't leave because you're going to get some cool stuff at the end. Okay? And this is a patient with cancer, and I'll go through the whole process. There's CoQ10, and then the carnitine. Remember Carl? Yeah. Carl has to be there for you to process fat as energy. If you put fat into your body, Carl's not there, you can't make energy because you can't get out of the first phase of the cycle. Just like glycolysis, Carl doesn't show up, we'll call it something else. Pick a name, we'll call it lipolysis. I don't know, there's not a name for it. Okay, there's your carnitine formula, and of course, oxygen. Right, the last step, we gotta breathe. And exercise induces that. And guys, if you guys don't want to breathe, I don't even care. Just go. Don't exercise, just breathe. Everybody do, ready to go. Do it. If you're not doing it, I'm looking at you. Now, tell me how you feel right now. You know why? Because you just generated a crap load of ATP. I'm not kidding. You now have a bunch more energy. How much more energized do you feel right now just from doing that? See? It's silly. Silly things work. Don't hold your breath. It's not good for you. Okay? B complex, multi-min chelate, nitric balance, carnitine, and his friend CoQ10 and lipoic acid. Okay? That's the first round of supplements to get you better. Okay? Next, eliminate sugar. Go back. Go back. Eliminate sugar and add healthy fats. Okay, we're going to talk about what those are in a little bit. There's 5 of them. Okay? But sugar and refined foods instantly decreases your immune system. What does the immune system kill? Cancer and every other poisonous thing that goes into your body. It also feeds cancer. We talked, remember the only cycle that the energy guy in your body makes from cancer is the glycolysis guy. So if you feed him fat, guess what? It's not going to be able to, it can't live there. If you don't feed cancer, it can't survive inside of you. Question, why don't we use protein as an energy source? And cows are crippled? Okay, that's a good answer, that's toxicity. But why protein specifically? In order to use protein as an energy source, it has to get converted to sugar first. Then it goes through glycolysis, and you're stuck again. The worst part, when you tear protein down as an energy source, it spits out something called urea, and urea is toxic even more, which the second you're going to learn about the environment for cancer is toxicity. Okay? So, protein is for what? Building stuff. Okay? Eyeballs, hearts, lungs, livers, ear balls, nose balls, my balls, all the balls. I said it really fast. I told this time I wasn't going to do it, but I had to. It was hilarious. Okay, anyway, hope there's no kids in the room. Okay, so cancer cells have more receptors for sugar, right? So we know they live on sugar. And talk to a medical doctor and ask them this. They'll say cancer has nothing to do with it. Really? Ask them how a PET scan works. They take a sugar and they put an ion marker on it. And then they watch it And guess where it goes to? It goes to the cancer site. Why? Because the cancer cell is eating it. I mean, come on. Let's be honest, right? Because the cancer cells can't die, so don't feed the monster. If you don't feed the monster, he dies, right? So feed him fat, and the cancer can't survive that. Cancer-killing smoothie. Coconut milk. What's that going to have in it? Good fats, right? Max Greens. You're going to learn about pH. Okay, you're going to learn about pH. Frozen strawberries. Now, strawberries have sugar in it, but the seeds of all your berries are cancer-killing. Did you guys know that? Isn't that awesome? That's a great question. Come and ask me afterwards. But no time for that right now. That's the next program. Come to the next program. Gut check. Okay, we're gonna learn about guts. Okay, perfect protein. And why? Oh, Dr. Ray, where's he at? I saw him. Where'd he go? I go to GNC and get my protein. Where are you? I saw you. You're down here somewhere. I'll find you. Okay? But you go to GNC. What's in a GNC protein shake? Number one, protein. Okay? And where's the protein come from? A cow. Okay? What does the cow eat? Grain. That's a sugar. What's on the grain? Pesticides and herbicides. Right? And then what do they sweeten it with? Sugar, or most commonly, sucralose, which is an artificial sweetener. I'd rather see you eating white sugar out of the packet than eating an artificial sweetener. Okay? And that's how much I hate sugar. And you guys know how much bad sugar is for you. With me? So there's your smoothie right there. You drink that, baby, cancer can't survive. Not to mention it tastes good, too. Okay? So what's next? Okay? Minimize toxic exposure. Okay? All right. Toxic. Here we go. Toxic babies. You on? Don't touch it. Maybe. Maybe not.
Nursing pillows, car seats, high chairs, they may all contain a chemical linked to cancer. There's a new study out warning that 80% of baby products may contain this chemical. Sanjay Gupta joins us from Atlanta. You know, we talk about this all the time. You have 3 little girls, 3 little boys, 2 kids. And we always worry, are the products that we're using, putting on them safe?
Yeah, and one of the things that we've been researching this for a long time, as you mentioned, is we're surrounded by chemicals all the time, about 80,000 chemicals, and a very small number of them have been tested. So the answer to the question is, as Christine said before, potentially toxic chemicals, is we just don't know the truth about some of these chemicals. We don't know the cause and effect relationship that people are really looking for. But you're absolutely right. It's been this balance for some time when it comes to flame retardants in particular. They want to find good flame retardants for obvious reasons. And part of that involves using some of these chemicals. So in this particular study, they found that out of about 100 products surveyed, 80 of them had some of these flame retardants in them. And one of these flame retardants in particular, called TDCPP, that's been studied. It was banned back in the 70s, or at least removed from children's pajamas back in the 1970s. And it's back now because people use it as a good flame retardant with real concerns about potential effects on your DNA, potential effects causing cancer. So, children are being exposed to more of these chemicals than ever before, again, because of the risks and benefits. You want to get some of the benefits of flame retardants, but the risk potential of these chemicals.
And Sanjay, our lives have changed so much from the 70s, so now we are surrounded by consumer products. Our kids are sitting on maybe there's testing for the exposure for one part of that, but they're being surrounded by so many different ways to be exposed. Why are kids so susceptible?
Well, part of it is that there are just a lot more chemicals. A lot of them are not tested, and kids are being born even pre-polluted. This is something that we found in the documentary as well. Umbilical cord blood, Christine, to your point, before a child is even born, has up to 200 of these chemicals in that blood. So they're getting exposed more than ever before. They are not just small adults, children. Don't think of them that way, but they're more susceptible because they metabolize a lot of these chemicals more quickly. Their organs are still developing, so they're more susceptible to these chemicals. And obviously, they're going to have a much longer impact. If you've been exposed to these chemicals later in life, the impact will be less. One of the
You guys get it? Remember epigenetics? right? And these babies are coming into our world with this crap. Okay, so it all has to do with vessel size, okay? And your amount of poison in the vessel, okay? Your body can handle a certain number of things, all right? But 90% of these things we're getting exposed to, they're not, the liver, which is your detoxification, looks at this stuff and goes, I don't know what that is, and I don't know what to do with it. So how are we going to get it out? We have to do a detoxification. I don't want to detoxify, Dr. A. My body does just fine. Really, 80,000 chemicals. And how many umbilical blood on these babies? I mean, come on, guys. We're poisoning our children. Then we throw in a couple of GMOs, a couple of pesticides, some pre-made stuff, diapers. I mean, all this stuff. We're poisoning our children, and our children are getting sicker and sicker and sicker. Number one killer in children is cancer because of these reasons. So we have to empty our bucket out. And then if it fills, we empty it again, and we empty it again. We have a lifetime detoxification protocol. 30 years ago when I was doing detox programs, I did them once a year on patients. 30 years ago. Now it's monthly. Why? Because people are exposed to all this garbage. And all this stuff spills out into your body. And if these toxins are floating around, guess what that's going to cause? Cancer. It's a cancer-loving environment. Okay? So this is our detoxifying dude. We take fat-soluble poisons. Okay? We dump the waste into the first lobe of the liver. Anybody, I'll give you a prize if you can tell me the name of the first process within the first lobe of the liver. It's called the P-something system. Nope, nice try. Anybody? Come on.
Back here said it.
Who did it? What's it called? Say it loud. Give her some vitamin D. Give her a round of applause. That's pretty good. It's not quite P450. It's called the cytochrome P450 system. What it does is it takes this waste and through all of these nutrients converts it into, where'd it go? There it is. It turns it into a super poison. It condenses it and makes it more poisonous. Then it's passed into the next lobe of the liver, and then it neutralizes those. So it takes the super poison, neutralizes. Now watch, this is the coolest thing. Is then it is eliminated from the body, it dumps into the gut as bile. Bile is the nutrient or the enzyme that breaks down fat. What do we got to use as an energy source? Fat. If you don't have bile, you can't make energy. You following this? So you can't break the fat down to make it small enough to put it in the factory to run the Krebs cycle or the citric acid cycle to generate the 36 ATPs. Okay? I'm trying to make this as... Everybody getting this? I know it's a lot of chemistry and I apologize, but it's so important you get this. So if this is working right, you're going to make bile, it's going to make it great. But what if you're dumping in all these chemical agents, right? The liver's going, I don't know what to do with these. So guess what it does? It dumps it right back into the bowel. It opens up the bowel, passes back into the bloodstream, and recycles itself over and over and over again. And then it damages your gut. And what is the primary organ of the immune system? The gut. You see how it happens? You see how you build? See how this stuff builds? Okay? But it's all this is fixable. That's what the cool part is. You have control over all of this. You just got to know it's there. Okay? So what do we got to do? We got to detox the liver. Clearvite and hepatosynergy. The liver detoxifies it, but it was never meant to handle the toxic load we're giving it today. That's why we got to kickstart it all the time. So Clearvite and hepatosynergy. On your paper that I gave you right now, it says detoxification supplements. It says Clearvite, CLA, and hepatosynergy. That's going to neutralize all the toxins. So what have we done so far? We decreased the inflammatory environment, right? Yay! The cancer can't live there. What did we do next? We removed all the poison, because now cancer can't live there. Yay! And the cancer is starting to go, dude, I don't know if this is a good place for me. Maybe I should move next door to the person that's eating the Dairy Queen, give me something Dairy Queen. Blizzard, banana split, right? Whatever. So, we've now got a good environment. We're doing good. What's next, Dr. Ray? I'm ready to bite. Nutrition, right? We got to put the right foods in our bodies. Okay? Research shows that the vitamin D, within a few days, half the cancer cells shriveled up and died from vitamin D. Okay? The vitamin has the same effect as the drug tamoxifen, which is a chemotherapeutic agent. What do you want? Chemotherapy in your body, which is poisoning your body, which is an environment that kills cancer cells, but also builds an environment that cancer likes to live in. I don't understand, Dr. It's confusing for my brain, because it is for me. Okay? So this was done at the State University of New York, so it wasn't done like at Kmart or something. Okay? This is done. This is the science of it, guys. Okay? So let's listen to I got a couple of videos. Hopefully they'll all play. Hello. This is a really cool one.
It all started with this famous study published in 1980. Johns Hopkins researchers were trying to figure out why states like New Mexico and Arizona had only about half the colon cancer rates of states like New York, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Maybe it's because they got so much sun. And so they proposed that maybe the sunshine vitamin D, is a protective factor against colon cancer. Since then, sun exposure has been associated with lower rates of 14 other types of cancer too. Vitamin D may also affect cancer survival. Higher blood levels of vitamin D were associated with lower mortality of patients with colorectal cancer. How much lower? Like nearly half the mortality. And the higher the D levels, the lower the death rate appeared.
Cool? Guy's a weird voice though. Lower. But they make fun of the guy, right? But how cool is that? I mean, guys, it's vitamin D. Go get it. Run outside, take off your shirt, go like this. If you're a guy, okay? That's what I do anyway. Okay, so again, but what's the problem with the sun? It also has oxidative damage, and it causes oxidative stress in the body. Oxidants then create inflammation, and we're back in cancer again, right? So you've got to be very careful with doing too much sun. But the neat part, and there's another slide that I'll go to, I think. This is just the vitamin D one. Okay? So that's the one you want. Now guys, this is the supplement. Every single person should walk out with this one in their hand tonight. Everybody. Because this is the supplement. Okay? That's going to, the most protective of anything else you can do is vitamin D. Because it boosts your immune system and does a lot of other cool things within the body to fight cancer. Okay? If you get one supplement today for cancer killing, this is the one. Okay? All right, and I apologize for a bunch of videos in a row, but they're pretty good. Okay, that didn't work. Let's go back. See if I can get her to play.
Welcome back on this morning's Health Watch. Could the key to preventing cancer be just a vitamin away? Our own Dr. Jennifer Ashton is here with some new research on prevention and also some warnings about what not to take. Good morning.
Good morning.
There was a study out of the UK, incredibly promising. A daily dose of vitamin D can cut the cancer risk by 25%.
That's right. This is arguably, Maggie, the most important vitamin to all of our health in terms of preventing diseases and actually potentially treating some existing conditions. In my house, believe it or not, it is the only vitamin we take every day. And I think people better get used to it. It's not going away. Every day we hear more convincing research.
And is it enough just to take it in supplement form, or do you have to get it in foods or sunlight?
Actually, 15 to 20 minutes of sunlight when you protect your hands and your face is good for us. That's where we get the D. This is one of the few vitamins that does work just as well taken in supplementary form, so you don't have to get the sun exposure to get the benefits of vitamin D.
Usually there's such a thing as too much of a good thing. Is that the same with vitamin D?
Absolutely. In very high doses, this can be toxic, so you should check with your doctor. They can do a blood test to evaluate your level, and people are finding now that actually you want a higher blood level. Between about 60 and 100 is the number. If you take vitamin D in supplementary form, adults, healthy adults, can probably take 2,000 to 3,000 units a day. Check with your doctor though, because they might want to monitor your doses.
What are some signs that you may be deficient in vitamin D?
Well, there are a whole group of people who are at risk for low vitamin D levels. Older people, if you're pale-skinned, overweight, ironically dark-skinned, and those who live in northern latitudes can actually be deficient.
There is another cancer headline that I want to talk briefly about. Conflicting reports about whether taking tamoxifen and Paxil after breast cancer is a good thing. What
Right,
can you tell
and it's
us?
not just Paxil, it's the whole class of antidepressants known as SSRIs. Conflicting results. One study found a doubling of the risk of death from breast cancer among women who are on tamoxifen and a Paxil or Prozac. The other one did not. So if you are on those type of antidepressants, check with your doctor, see if there's something else that can treat your hot flashes.
In other words, they take the Paxil to treat the...
Taking Paxil to treat your hot flashes. That's off-label prescribing. That's not even what it does. So you see the craziness? So do the tamoxifen. If you're on an SSRI, it's going to make your cancer come back, but you don't want to be depressed, so you take the... Guys, I just don't understand. I mean, maybe I'm just whack job or something, but why don't we just get people healthy so they aren't depressed because they're dying on the vine? You understand what I'm saying? Why don't we just get healthy? All right, let's try a new drug. Let's try getting healthy. I always put up a slide up there. Always says the doctor's looking at the test results. Frankly, I don't know what to do with this. You're healthy, right? I don't think what drug to give you.
What was the name of the other one besides Paxil?
Paxil and tamoxifen. Tamoxifen is a breast cancer chemotherapeutic agent. So never take your tamoxifen with your antidepressant medication. It will kill you. I think just taking the drug will kill you, but that's just my opinion. Sometimes I don't know much. Okay, now I got to move on to the next one. Okay, come on now. Where's my deal? There we go. Okay, I'm gonna list. This guy's only going to go for a few minutes because he's really boring.
Toward a Cancer-Free World, presented by 10 TV and The James.
Today on Toward a Cancer-Free World, a medical research expert explains the relationship between chronic inflammation and cancer.
The data is pretty good that all cancers have some component of inflammation. There's good evidence that, if you have inflammatory bowel disease, you'll get cancer, pancreatitis and pancreatic cancer, and things like HBV and hepatitis B infection in liver, where you actually have a virus infection that causes chronic inflammation and leads to...
Okay, so you get the idea there, right? So I just wanted him to just say it out loud, that basically chronic inflammation. Now, did you hear what he said, though? The irritable bowel, the liver disease, all this stuff, it's all inflammatory, right? So it's the inflammation that creates it, okay? Creates the cancerous environment. And so all of those particular conditions are all inflammatory. Now, the other thing he said, which I want to talk about, is that he said that they're all pro-inflammatory, but then it also causes chronic infections. See, there's two basic types of cancer. You got hormone-driven cancers, okay, like your breast, prostate, colon, thyroid, ovarian. Did I miss one? I think that's it. Okay, and then there's your blood-borne cancers like leukemia and lymphoma. Those come from chronic infections like hepatitis C, amalgam fillings in your mouth, chronic tooth infections. Those chronic infections that just won't heal, those are the ones that lead you down the path of those other types of infections. Okay, and you'll like this guy because he's more entertaining. And you guys know him probably because he's a he's a medical doctor. Dr. Wheel.
Ginger and turmeric are powerful natural anti-inflammatory agents, and you want to find out how to get more of them into you. Ginger is relatively easy because we're familiar with that, and not only can you add it as a spice to food, you can eat crystallized ginger as a snack. By the way, one of my favorite sweet things is, I recommend eating dark chocolate with a minimum of 70% cocoa in it. Some people find that too bitter. I actually can eat up to 85% chocolate. Higher than that is too bitter for me. But I can eat 85. But sometimes if I eat between 80 and 85%, if you eat it with a piece of crystallized ginger, that's a very delicious combination. You can also take powdered ginger in capsules, and we recommend that to patients with inflammatory conditions. Turmeric is extremely interesting. It's really the hottest medicinal herb being studied now. Very powerful anti-inflammatory agent, anti-cancer agent. It looks as if it reduces risks of Alzheimer's disease, probably because of its anti-inflammatory effect. Indians eat turmeric at every meal. India has the lowest rate of Alzheimer's disease in the world, and some people think that's due to high concentration of turmeric. There's some animal studies supporting that. That one we have more difficulty with. The main way we get turmeric is in the form of American yellow mustard, which is mostly a turmeric preparation. It has real sweet things. I recommend eating dark chocolate.
He's into dark chocolate, can you tell? Okay, so turmeric, okay? Turmeric, that is the dude right there for anti-inflammatory, okay? And that really helps. So this is how inflammation happens in the body, okay? Now, first of all, and I mentioned this in classes, so you guys may have the answer. I hope some of you do. What is the purpose of inflammation? What's it for? It does something for us. What does it do? It doesn't heal, it kills. Okay? Its purpose is to kill. It kills bugs, viruses. It kills cancer. The purpose is to kill. That's what it's a poisonous agent that you dump. So if you have a puncture wound, you want a whole lot of inflammation in there to nuke that. You following me? Okay? So what happens? This whole process of the tissue destruction, ultimately, there's the puncture wound, there's the bug, here comes inflammation, it's called Th17. This is what creates the tissue destruction, and he goes bye-bye. Okay, bye. I said bye. Okay? So he goes away. Now, this process, now we talked about the NOS, remember? There was the NNOS, which is in your nitric balance, okay? And then your ENOS, which you get from exercise, ENOS. And that one's more effective than the supplement. And then there's the inflammatory nitrous oxide. Not the good kind, unless you're trying to kill an infection, right? You dump INOS in there, and it causes lymphocytes. That's your little wonka, 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 wonka guy that eats the stuff, okay? And then you've got the other side, which is the natural killer cells, which we'll get into in just a second. The problem is that we get exposed to this stress, toxic elements, improper digestion, and that's next program, drugs and medications, pathogens, and multi-organ shutdown. This creates damage to this system, because ultimately what this creates is systemic inflammation. The body thinks you're the infection, so it's attacking you. Are you following this? This is autoimmunity. It can attack a pancreas, cause diabetes. Attack a prostate and cause prostate cancer. Attack your heart and cause a heart attack. Brain damage there, pulmonary diseases, arthritic pain, autoimmune, and neurological diseases. It's all because of systemic inflammation, because the body thinks you're the infection. And so what does it cause? Tissue destruction of you. Okay? So we got to stop this systemic inflammation. Now, ultimately, Th3 is the guy, okay? This is the boss, okay? He's the boss of the Th1 and Th2 system, okay? So, Th3 has a whole pocket full of hydrogen ions, okay? And his job is to keep these guys in balance or take hydrogen ions to create an imbalance to create an inflammatory response, okay? So, what do we got to do? Oh no, I did it. I lost him. There he is. I put my thingy there to put it in. I still blew it. I try to do it every time. Okay? So, a naive T cell. Your T cell is just a baby immune system cell. You following me? Now, when he grows up, he's going to be a Th3. He's going to be the big boss. Now, in order for that to happen, you need vitamin A and vitamin D to make that happen. So AD Pro, that's going to make this conversion into Th3. So we need that. Okay? Now, here's the guy. Put it where it goes, right there. Okay? So here's the boss. Okay? You get an infection that's going to require wonka, 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 wonka guy. Okay? And so that's the Th1 side. So what does he do? Mr. Boss steals some hydrogen ions. That causes it to shift this direction, which sends it down to Th17, which causes tissue destruction, kills the bugs, viruses, bacteria, whatever. Or cancer. Okay? Now, that would be, now there's another side, and this is the more cancer side, is the Th2. This is the guy where the antibodies, we talk about vaccinations and stuff, the antibodies hook themselves to the cancer cells, then the natural killer cells of the Th2 system, shoots them. Got me? So we got the wonka, wonka, wonka side, and we got the pew side. Got it? So there's two types of systems. So they're both in balance. Now the problem is when you have systemic inflammatory conditions, your immune system's going ballistic. And this guy is not taking hydrogen ions to create the imbalance, to cause the tissue destruction. He's doing his best to balance it. So he's reaching in his pocket, giving everybody hydrogen ions. Here, Th2, Th1, Th2, crap, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then what happens? He reaches in his pocket and goes, I'm out. Now what's going to happen? It's going to shift. No, because we got this cool guy. Okay, you ready? Dun 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 dun! Here comes Mr. Glutathione. Dun 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 dun! I have hydrogen ions. You guys following this? He gives all of his hydrogen ions to Th3. Th3 gives it to 1 and 2 and neutralizes the tissue destruction, and we can't get cancer. You follow? The problem is he gets this is ox-redox reaction. He runs out of hydrogen ions, and we use a bottle of hydrogen ions called glutathione recycler that forces this to happen, keeps providing the hydrogen ions. You with me? Okay? So, that's how it works. Now, ultimately, you guys are all down here. Pro-inflammatory. So we got to nuke the Th17. We got to fix this so future's okay, but we got to fix now. Okay? Turmeric. We just learned it from Dr. Wheel, right? Turmeric. It's a curcuminoid, most powerful anti-inflammatory. He nukes Th17. Resveratrol regenerates cells. It regenerates them, brings them back to life. Okay? And that nukes that tissue destruction, and bam, it's done. Right? You follow? So, what happens now though? Th17, remember, goes downstream into glutathione depletion. I got none, you got none, so guess what's going to happen? INOS is going to take over. And what happens over here? Lymphocytes, wonka, 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 is going wonka, 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 eating you, causing more inflammation, more cancer, more damage. Okay? And then ultimately autoimmunity over here. You got the immunoglobulins that hook on your thyroid, on your prostate gland, and then they shoot your prostate, and then you got cancer. Follow? Is it making sense? Okay, I'm trying to take heavy chemistry and make it as simple as possible. So nitric balance, the same stuff that we talked about before, that stimulates the NNOS system. Okay, and that puts out the fire of inflammation. Everybody with me? Cool? All right, so this is on your paper. Immune boosting extinguished supplements, nitric balance, Tumero, Resveratrol.